Welcome to the Side Action Podcast, the sports gambling show that covers everything in the world of sports betting from A through Z. We'll cover the four major sports, as well as anything and everything in between worth some action, and will increase the size of your bankroll. And here we go.
All right, we are live. Episode 24 of Season 6. Welcome to the Side Action. My name is Jim Weglars, a.k.a. Wegs. You can follow me at X. See, I changed it right there.
Okay, right.
At Wegs Pool on X and Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X
at
Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. We were coming to you live on Saturday.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Sorry, everybody. Jimmy Wegs, it's my fault. Had a trip to Phoenix that kind of got booked like a week before, like 5 days, maybe 4 days before I had to leave. I didn't even do the outline. I did the outline this morning. It's been a scramble. I've been like nonstop, not just drinking, but like we had like 4 meetings a day, dinner. I ended up having dinner with my cousin Thursday, way out in the boonies. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do this in a hotel. Plus, we'll talk about later. We've got Dempsey, Night Ranger he did his first hit. We've been trying to get him on for a couple of years. He must be you. He must be like you. He's like, get him on there. So we'll have a live exclusive from Vegas, from Circa, with Dempsey in a minute. We had to coordinate that today, too. So how was your week? How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I feel like there's been a space between us. I feel like
week.
No, it's been all right. We did Tuesday night bowling. It's been a pretty chill week. Yeah. Honestly, been working a lot. So,
but did you also go to the PBA National?
Oh yeah.
So your buddy got a really
Graham.
Good hook.
Yeah, Graham was out bowling. They were bowling out in Mount Prospect this week.
Okay.
So Tuesday, Wednesday was working in the bowling alley.
Nice.
Probably from like 10 to like 2. But yeah, I got to see him, so it's always good to see the fellas. But yeah, other than that, it's been a pretty chill week. Looking forward to tomorrow. I got my getting my meal prep going. I've got some tacos that I think I'm going to make.
Okay, little tacos. Okay, little meat.
So,
nice. Yeah. I'm going to do a taco dip, not with meat though. It'll be veggie. It'll be just kind of a 7-layer dip kind of thing.
Nice.
It's a big hit. So we are going to Four Shadows tomorrow. That's exciting. Yeah, Phoenix was. So it was kind of weird. You're going to Phoenix. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to 70-degree weather and all that.
Oh no.
Shitty. It was like 50 and rainy. I brought the terrible weather there. Everybody hated me there. Plus the Waste Management Open, which again, I didn't plan this trip. Like I think I might have said, got a promotion. Theoretically, I will get more money at some point. They haven't really just determined that.
You need an agent.
I need an agent. God damn it, I need an agent. So anyway, they're like, hey, bro, you got to go to Phoenix on Tuesday. Great. Okay. And then we tried to get hotel rooms, like $500 a night minimum. So we stayed in this like no-tell motel. It was like the Sure Stay by Best Western. It wasn't even a Best Western. It was shitty by the airport.
Sister Best Western.
I mean, it saved us some money, but it was sketchy. So, but that's how it happened at the Waste Management Open. There's all the hotel rooms are booked. Yeah. You're screwed. And so there were tons of people going down there. As we were doing these meetings, most of the contractors and stuff, they're all the bros. They got their cool little golf shirts and stuff. With their companies. They're like, yeah, we'd have been at the Waste Management Open, but it's raining, so we can meet with you. That's kind of what happened all week. So it paid off for us. And then I went down to Tucson. We drove, it's about 2 hours, an hour and a half plus to Tucson, south of Phoenix. So we did that yesterday. It was like, got up at 7, drove down there, had a couple meetings, drove back up, and then flew back. I didn't get into like midnight last night. I'm a little tired, bro.
I'm tired. You're looking all right though.
Well, I played today. Played 7 games. We played 3 hours. Normally we do 2 hours, as you know. Maybe don't. We usually do a 2 hour with 4 guys. You play like Iron Man 6 straight without many breaks. Today, because Luke, he's got an influence over people. He was not. He was the alt. He was the alternate, and he talked Scott into playing 5-man. Nice. So we had 5 guys for 3 hours. So I ended up playing 7 games instead of 6. But I got to wait. I got to sit twice, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because the old man and his bones. But I played pretty good. It was pretty fun. Carlos, Carlito.
Oh yeah.
Haven't seen him in a while. He's been moving to suburbs. He's got his. He's a pickleball champion out there, but I haven't seen him. But it was nice to see him. He played today, so it was Garrick, Scott, Luke, and Carlos and myself. So it was fun.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah. Sounds like a pretty chill Saturday.
So what happened with Hamlin? It didn't happen, or you just didn't get them to sign up? Or
no,
something?
I think they're doing something at the gym this week.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
We should be back to your regular scheduled program next week, hopefully.
Good stuff. Well, let's jump into it. I admittedly not too prepared, but I know you always are. So, who are you taking to the shed this week, Coop? I mean, this is we've got a big shed filled with a lot of people.
The NFL PA office is the first person up on the list for the shed this week. So I don't know if you saw this on Monday or Tuesday, but the Chiefs are practicing at the Raiders facility this week leading
Indoor,
up to the game.
Nice.
Yeah, great facility. And then the Niners were practicing at UNLV's practice facility, which is a really nice multi-million-dollar facility. Yep. We're not here to say that. But they had freshly laid sod over their turf. So the 49ers and a lot of the other just the players.
Fresh.
Yeah, fresh. The players and obviously the personnel, they're complaining about, like it's basically running on a sponge. And the sad part is the NFL has bylaws and protocols set up in place to where this was supposed to be taken place in December. This was supposed to be all situated by December, and yet here we are in February, and this is still an issue. So firmness is trash. They have seams in the field, and it's just been a nightmare. So
you'd think they could just kind of set up a schedule where they could both play at the same, like practice at the same facility, so it's even. But I guess they want to take over it, and I heard. So nobody is actually practicing at Reliant. That's the other thing. It's like, why wouldn't they just practice on the main field? Is there stuff? Is there an advantage? I don't know.
They keep they roll the field in too, so it's not like they keep it in the stadium. But
I heard. Last year when it was in Phoenix, they had that same problem. They kept it outside, and it was unusually moist or something, and then they covered it with a tarp, so it
kept all the moisture in,
destroyed the grass. That's why it was so nobody could run on that field last year. We'll see if that hopefully they fix it in the next 24 hours and figure it out.
Yeah, the sod father at it again.
Well, that one dude, whoever, I can't remember his name, that they blamed, he will not be associated this year. He's like, I'm not going. I'm not doing anything.
No, he retired. I think last year was his last.
He got blamed for the problem. It wasn't all him. It was some bad decisions.
Well, he's also a lifelong Chiefs fan. So that's very publicly documented too.
That's a little suspect.
And then other franchise getting taken to the shed. I don't know if you're familiar with the gas station Come and Go.
Well, I don't know Come and Go in that respect.
Gotcha. Well, they announced that they were going to be changing the name of the franchise this week.
Probably a good idea, but you think that's a bad idea?
Yeah, they're getting taken to the shed. They've built this franchise on coming and going, and I don't understand why they'd want to just get rid of that. So I'm taking them to the shed, and I think it's a very valuable place. I hope there's plenty of you out there that'll agree with me.
Yeah, you don't want to go to a quick trip. You want to go to a come and go.
Yeah,
there seems to be some benefits going there.
Absolutely, I couldn't imagine anything more. But yeah, they're a scattered franchise. I know they're out on the West Coast and stuff like that. So I've seen them in my day of travel. So. Well,
I'm going to take Doc Rivers to the shed. He's not the only one to blame here. The Bucs aren't playing very good, and I didn't get to do a lot of research, Coop, so I don't know how many games he's coached. But all I know is they were in a slide. They did win last night. They won their last game, but
38.
They keep losing games. Big games. They lost in Phoenix when I was out there. So, they bounced back last night, but I don't trust him. I don't think he's a great motivating coach. I think he's a solid guy, but he really isn't the answer to turn this thing around. Maybe they bounced back last night, but I just don't trust them. So, Doc, we got plenty of room in the shed. Maybe if you spend a little time in there, you'll get your team to play some defense.
Maybe. Well, they got it. They just traded for Patrick Beverly, too, so that should help them a little bit, at least on the perimeter.
We all know Patrick Beverly gets under people's skin.
Oh yeah, well at least he can play defense. So, but who do you want to put in Club Dub this week?
Yeah, I know. I got to put somebody in there. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I will do it reluctantly. We're going to put Joe Flacco in Club Dub. I don't know if you saw NBA honors. We could talk about my losses, but the win, NFL honors. My bad.
There you go.
Joe Flacco gets the comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little bit controversial because. Obviously, DeMar Hamlin died on the field for whatever it was, a minute or two, and he came back to play the next year. That is like a true comeback. We've got Joe just sitting on the couch and playing with the kids, and then he came in. But you know what? Good for Joe. Good for him. As you said, elite.
Yeah.
He did get it. I know that people were talking on the gambling stations, VSiN and stuff. People had, I think the biggest ticket I heard was 100 to 1 on him.
Damn.
To win. So... Welcome into Club Dub, Joe. Come on in. We're not sure where your future is, but for at least this, this period of time, maybe until the start of next season, you could exclusive rights to Club Dub.
Nice. Exclusive. You're adding a motorship, eh?
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Why not? He's elite. He's a one-time Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, no, definitely elite company. I don't know if you saw this, but this was on the Corn Ferry Tour though. So first person I'm putting is Cristobal de Soler.
Okay,
he posted a 13 under 57 on Thursday during the opening round, lowest event on PGA record.
Wow.
So I think he went. I think it was like 28 and 31 or something along those lines. I don't think that maths correctly, but I know he went out in 28. I can't remember whatever the math is on the other one. So pretty good round. I don't know what your lowest round ever, but that's like 30.
Maybe on a 9.
Yeah, that's like 20 round. That's like 20 shots lower than my best round ever.
Yeah, that's
insane. So and then we're gonna go with Kansas State. They defeated Kansas Tuesday night in overtime at home. They were on a 4-game losing streak, obviously, so that kind of helped them get in the right track. I think they're 15-8 now.
Yeah.
Following that, but nice little stat too. They're 6-0 in overtime this year, and they're 11-0 in overtime in the last 2 seasons under Coach Jerome Tang.
Yeah, I know. It was funny when they posted the stat when they went in overtime the other night, and this was they were at home in Manhattan, Kansas. The Sunflower State, and they posted them like, 10-0 in overtime the last 2 seasons. I'm like, oh boy, you don't post that. They're going to lose now. They did it again. I mean, they almost did. I don't know if you watched the game. I watched it a lot of it. They had chances in regulation, and then in overtime, it's like, please win this game. It's not that I don't like Kansas. We have, one of my friends, Whitney, who now is in Portland. She's a big Kansas Jayhawk person. Maybe she's listening. It's not that I hate Kansas. I'm just kind of sick of those guys. Like, it's like, okay, you're good. We get it. Let somebody else win once in a while, especially in the Big 12.
But they're a blue blood.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, well, whatever. Anyway, but they finally lost, so I hope your heart's content.
I feel great.
They got an extra gear down there in Kansas State, so you got to look out for them. You don't want to take those guys to overtime. But and then we're also, I don't know if you saw this today, we're going to put Chip Kelly in Club Dub. He actually got hired on at Ohio State to be the next offensive coordinator. He had resigned from UCLA, obviously, following the end of the season. But the vacancy came when Bill O'Brien actually was the OC for Ohio State, and then 5 minutes later he turned around and became the head coach for Boston College.
There's been a lot of that. You had Cliff Kingsbury kind of declined the Raiders and then went to Washington, which also meant that
that was more of a contract thing because Washington was going to give him 3 years as opposed to he was only going to get 2 years from the Raiders. So.
Yeah, it also means Bieniemy's out in Washington, which kind of sucks. So he's on the street.
He's working with Kansas City this week. I don't know if you knew that or not. He's in the building working with the Chiefs. So
he's more
Andy
creative
Reid brought him in.
than Nagy, that's for sure.
That's my Club Dub this week. Yeah,
I like it. Well, what about your stat of the week here?
I was going through the props this morning and just fun stats and all that kind of stuff. So, do you know who is the all-time leader in NFL postseason completion percentage with a minimum of 5 starts? Do you know who it is?
5 starts.
This person actually had more than 5.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would say Joe Burrow.
No, that's a good guess. No, it's actually Nick Foles. 68.1% completion percentage.
Do you know what Nick Foles' nickname is?
Yeah, Big Dick Nick.
Yeah.
He's got Big Nick energy.
BDN.
Yeah, he's got Big Nick energy. So, that was a fun stat I came across this morning. I thought that was
68.1.
He's actually had 6 starts, by the way, in the postseason.
Yeah, the Super Bowl was like legendary. He was just lighting it up. It was amazing, and he had a couple of those runs. So good for BDN.
So nice little fun stat for everybody out there. I figured that I couldn't believe that one either when I read it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with the Super Bowl interview and go. Okay, we are recording. We have the man, Paul Dempsey, a.k.a. the Night Ranger, out in Vegas live. He's like our correspondent this week. He's out there. He got comped at Circa. I'll let you tell all about it. But I'm sorry I couldn't join you. I really wanted to. I'm just a little broke right now. Maybe next year. But how's it going out there? What's happening in Vegas? You've been on the street.
It's going great. I got here Thursday. I'm leaving Monday. I am surprised, though. I got here Thursday, really dead. Friday, picking up a bit. Today, still picking up a bit. And I actually asked a few dealers and bartenders, it seems a little bit lighter. I said, is this different than NFL Week 1 or NCAA? And they said, yeah, it's lighter. So it is fun. I've been to a lot of fun stuff, but it's not a crush of people. So it's interesting.
I'm surprised. I figured it would be bigger. I guess it depends on where you're at. Now, you're at Circa right now, like you're actually in your room at Circa?
Yeah.
Okay, so Circa.
Yeah. I went down to The strip on Friday, I played in a poker tournament at Caesars.
Nice.
Caesars is the NFL headquarters for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Bumped into Anthony Munoz, Hall of Famer. I saw some other guys that are probably NFLers that I've known, but it's kind of cool to see that thing out there. But as I left the strip Friday night, I could tell it was starting to build traffic on that. So I'll probably be downtown here the rest of the weekend.
Okay. And then have you ever been in Vegas for the Super Bowl? I know it's obviously on site this year, but have you ever been there in other years?
No, I haven't, and it's pretty cool, and it's pretty unique. I'm thinking I almost went down to Miami when the Bears played the Colts, but didn't have a lot of money, but that's all spread out. I thought this would be really unique, and that's what would pull people in. I have seen, the cool thing is I see jerseys of, it's like NFL Week 1. I see Cowboys, Eagles, all. So people are repping their jerseys. I got my Bears pin on,
Sure.
They're repping their towns. Right now, I would say it's, my opinion, 60% Niners, 40% Chiefs gear I'm seeing.
Okay. So a little more Niners, and then so like I was in Phoenix this week for work, not for the Waste Management Open. Last year they had it in Phoenix, both the Super Bowl and Waste Management Open. I do think traditionally a lot of people do go from Waste Management up to Vegas just to enjoy the Super Bowl, whether it's there or not. And I think you're going to get a lot of people tonight and tomorrow because Waste Management, it rained like 2 days straight. So the program is Wednesday. They kind of rained that out. Thursday it was pouring. I mean, it was like they had to stop play. I don't think they got anything in. So maybe you'll get more people up there tonight, flying. It's only, an hour from Phoenix. And then tomorrow morning. So you may get a bigger rush. A lot of guys who were drinking with their shirts off in the stands at Waste Management Open are sad because it was like 55 and rainy. It wasn't that great down there.
And Vegas, I guess, got a lot of that weather up until like Tuesday, and then it cleared out. So it's a little chilly out here, though. I looked I'm overlooking the stadium swim where we've been out there for NCAA, but out there for football. Yeah. I counted 30 people an hour ago, and 28 of them pool. So unless you're in the heated pool, you don't want to be sitting outside. And I'm a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly out there with that when Fremont Street with that wind blowing through to wind tunnels. It's February.
A little brisk.
Is there a high anticipation of Taylor's arrival, do you think? Can you feel the tension in the air? We obviously want to get the important questions out there as well.
The funny thing is, I was actually looking for that. I haven't seen any Taylor gear. I'm sure it's out there. Maybe it's more toward the strip. I don't know. But I'm sure you guys have peeked in the stories. It sounds like, can she get there in time? Oh, she absolutely can. They're way behind. Like, her show's over. She's in flight right now, my guess. So, like they said, the earliest she'll get there is like 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. So I never do this, but I'm going to a big Super Bowl party. So I pay somebody to go to. I'm going to go to the Maxim Park.
Yeah, nice.
Resorts. And so I expect to see, Taylor there. So, if I don't, I might ask for a refund. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Make Travis a little jealous there, Paul. There's nothing like a 50-year-old Bears fan pushing up on Taylor Swift, at a Maxim party.
Yeah.
So before we get into kind of, your leans for the game and what you're thinking and what you're feeling out there, tell us first about your method, because I don't know if you guys got to talk at the party, but this guy is a slot guy. He's a high roller slot guy, and he sent me a picture on, was it Thursday? I lose track of days. He's like, hey, it's a video, started off right, and won $3,500 right out the gate. So,
yeah.
So tell us your method. How do you, with the gambling and everything, what is your MO when you go to Vegas?
So I play a lot of roulette, a lot of blackjack, but I'm not, I'll play high limit slots, but I can't afford it. Like, I watch channels where guys will play 10, 15, 20 minutes at $100 a spin, $200-$300 a spin. I can't afford that. I'll take $1,000 every now and then, maybe twice a trip, maybe 3 times a trip. And if I had something great, if not, so be it. And I let my money run. So I was lucky right out of the gate. So you're right. I had a $3,500 hit on Thursday. Guess what I'm up right now? $3,555. So
boom.
No. So that means I've also thrown money in and lost, and then won back elsewhere. So like everything's just equal across the board. If you're going to play big slots, you're also going to lose $6,000 to $8,000 at a hit and that kind of thing. But then I also love playing 25-cent video poker, sitting at the bar and talking to people at the bar. So I'm all over the board on things. Yeah. Today I threw some money on, some NCAA hoops, a couple parlays in there. I'm not great at straight odds on games. I get my information from you guys, so I'm not a good analytics guy as it comes to betting. But I really play everything in the casino outside of Keno. But I'll hit a lot of roulette, blackjack, and then every now and then, a high limit slot. And because now I'm up and I gotta pace myself, I got a day and a half or so left. I'm usually pretty good at this, but I can't want to blow it just because I gotta just do what I would normally do. And I'm up right now. I should go home at worst even, right?
Yeah, of course. And then for the game, are you gonna bet, side total? Are you gonna do some props? Are you gonna do on the app? Are you an in-person ticket guy? How do you usually do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it all in person. I did a bunch of props already, maybe $400 or $500 worth of stuff hit here and there. I can't decide on a team, so I'm not going to bet it just because I don't want to force myself to bet it. To me, it feels like a lot like that last Patriots title game, 2017-18 season maybe, when they were down. I'm sorry. Was it the last one when they beat Goff and the Rams? It was like 13-3. It feels like that. Chiefs aren't the same team, but guess what? They keep winning. The Niners look like a good team, but they have this rookie at the seat. So I might be the only person in town. I might hammer the under, just thinking Chiefs are going to do some stuff, maybe some drops. Purdy might do some stuff, maybe some picks. So I'm going to do a lot of my bets either. I'm going to do definitely the under, and then take some other picks. Like a lot of people say this game is equal. Hey, if you go into overtime, it's about a 10-1 bet right now. I'm going to bet it's going to and bet some other plays like that are more geared toward lower scoring. Of course, you could blow up my face. It could be like last year, 38, 35, so
Yeah, we'll talk about it more on the pod later, but I hear you. It's a tough game to handicap this year, even more than last year, even though I thought last year the teams were pretty even, but and it was a good game. So I just want a good game usually. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of props, in that.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs have definitely defied the odds, through the playoffs, and they've, their defense is really what's leading their team for sure.
It's funny you mentioned that Super Bowl with the Rams and the Patriots, because if you look at the percentages of the money, obviously all the public is on the Chiefs. It's like 70%, which right now is the highest percentage of all time. The other two times previously was 68% of the money, and one of those was the Broncos and Seahawks when the Broncos got blown out, and then the other time was that Patriots and Rams Super Bowl.
And they were on the opposite team.
Right? So it's funny you brought that up. I was going through Twitter and saw that the other day.
That's why it worries me.
You mentioned that. So
Vegas has been on the right side. The preview, you'll listen to us later when we get it all up. But the Vegas has been on the right side like every year for the last 15 years, except for those two, or like the two. Or I'm sorry, there was another two, and that one. So they won those Super Bowls. But there's other ones that they've been on the right side pretty much every time. They don't get beat very often. So unless there's a ton of money that's coming out of San Francisco that I don't know about, I have seen on Twitter the big bets have been coming in on San Francisco money lines and stuff like that. There haven't been a lot of reported Chiefs bets, even though Billy Walters, I don't know if you know who he is, but he was on Radio Row and they said he was going to put on the Chiefs. But I'm not sure if that was a head fake kind of thing for him. But it's tough game. But I mean, so you're saying it's kind of growing the buzz. There'll probably be some more. You're going to Maxim's party on Sunday or today?
Yeah, that's tonight. Tomorrow there's a watch party. There's a bunch of watch parties at Circa, but just because of the weather, and I'm a Chicago guy, it's cold out there. I'm not going to go to Stadium Swim. They have like a third floor ballroom. I'm going to be at the watch party. Coop, it's funny you brought up the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl because that was the only one to start with the safety. And just because I'm up a little bit and I bet some on that, so if this game starts 2-0. Wags, if this game starts 2-0, I'm buying a cabana at the next.
Yeah, baby. Yes, that's right. I mean, I know you'll be. We've talked. We say we're not going next month, which is a bummer, but we're definitely going in September. We're gonna get this young man out there. Hopefully, get action back, get the whole band back together. Art, leave Natalia at home for God's sakes. And let's have a good time. And we might have a bigger group. We've got a lot of friends that always talk about coming, but Dempsey's one of the stalwarts. He's there, unless he's got an actual thing at work, then no bullshit stuff. He actually will be there.
Day one.
Yeah, and so we had Schwa a couple of years ago. It was fun. And you were there about a year and a half ago. My brother-in-law took it was action spot at the pool. You bought the strawberry daiquiris, and I told you the story how he threw up all the way home in the car.
Yep.
Yikes.
That's because Paulie bought the daiquiris. So.
Nice.
So yeah, my brother-in-law can blame you, but I mean, he didn't have to suck it down like a champ.
Well, he gave us a ride in that car, but anything you added to the base of that car was fine because it needed a little something.
It's true. That was a rough little minivan. So, okay, so you're doing the Maxim tonight. Watch party tomorrow. You fly back Monday. Hopefully you go home, up. Anything else you're gonna, what's some of the stuff you always do when you go to Vegas?
I love just jumping in at. I would not love. I don't mind losing $50, $100 an hour at a blackjack table if it's with a bunch of fun drunk guys and a bunch of pretty girls. I mean, I would gladly sit there for a while and lose money. So I'm looking to find that fun table today. And if I stay up in that, I might throw some big money at. A couple bets I looked at. 49ers score every quarter, minus 210. Chiefs score every quarter, minus 235. Like, if I'm in my thought, this game's going to be close, that's not going to happen for either. So I might throw some, minus 200 is a big bet. You're not getting a lot on the back end. But those might be my big bets tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens.
Okay, sounds good. And that'll be at Circa, or you'll go to Caesars, or wherever you're going to put that in?
Tomorrow, I think I'm going to sleep in, and I'll probably do that at Circa. But one of my sucker games I play is Let It Ride. They don't have it at Circa, so I'll go across to the Nugget. Sorry, Eric Stevens, I'm not going to even have it at your properties, but I did bump into him on Thursday.
Did you?
And I got to take a photo with him, and he was like literally getting ready to do an interview, and I didn't bother with him. So I know he's got obviously shit going on. It is it is 3 parts this weekend. So
he's a nice guy. He I know that Actions talked to him before. And then this year when I was with Art, it was just basically Art, me, and Natalia at the pool. I was wearing the Circa, Survivor hat. And he stopped, he had a camera crew, and they're like, hey, who'd you pick this week? So he's a cool guy. And he's a salted youth guy. I mean, he's just a guy amongst the people. He'll always be walking around. And he loved, of course, he had his Detroit Lions. He would have been really excited if the Lions made it. But
yes. I think Lions, Bills, this time will be a little different right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. The wine and cheese San Franciscans.
Or even the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but imagine Cowboys Nation descended on Vegas, and it was the Gad, repeat of 90, whatever it was, 92, 93 in there.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
You could also do a no double doink for no doink field goal. It's like minus 750, so it is an investment, but it should pay off.
So with no it
doinks,
can't hit anything.
No doinks, yeah.
And that's on the whole,
game.
I'm from Chicago, so I would have to bet yes.
Well, there was one last year. Butker had one last year,
yeah.
so it's the first time in 12 years they had one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, great, man. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a great time. You're keeping the spirit of the Side Action Podcast. Maybe just one time, roll the bones and walk away, and it's fine. You could do a walk off, and hopefully you can hit another big one on the slots.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wegs. Thanks, Coop. This pod's awesome. Love it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, MC.
Yep. Bye.
All right, buddy. So that's how it worked. I'll figure out how to splice it and dice it. So have a great time, and we're gonna do the main pod now, and hopefully I can put it all together next hour after we're done. So
cool. All right, you guys have a good one.
Oh yeah, you too, man.
Take care. Okay. Here we go. Let's jump into our other coverage show for the Super Bowl. Injuries, not a lot to report here, Coop, but I will start with the Chiefs because they do have some injuries. Joe Thuney is not going to play, so that's kind of big for the guard. He didn't play last game, but we've already talked about their tackles aren't great. You've got some interior issues. And my guy, Jerick McKinnon, I was really excited. I'm like, let me do the first touchdown prop with Jerick. I don't think he's going to play. I mean, he's questionable, but I don't see anything on practice reports. He's still listed as returning week 23. Well, guess what? The game's tomorrow. So, and the 49ers, they got nobody on the report from what I can see.
No, they're the healthiest they've been all year. That could be huge though for your guy Pacheco catching the ball out of the backfield with no Jerry McKinnon.
I like Pacheco.
Yeah.
Even though he's not James Pacheco's son.
No.
I know you thought that.
Illegitimate.
Well, he does spend some time in Jersey.
Yeah, I've seen him with the ladies. I don't doubt that for a minute.
Well, let's go over the game. We've got a lot to cover here, Coop. First of all, I mean, as of this morning, unless it changed, it's pretty steady. It hasn't moved in weeks. It's came out at 2.5, went a little bit down to 1 maybe for a minute, back to 2. It's been at San Francisco -2 for at least 10 days, and the total hasn't moved at all, 47.5. You mentioned it actually in the interview with Dempsey. So last time I checked, 81% of the bets are on Kansas City, 74% of the money. This scares me, dude. Why haven't they moved the damn line then? If all this money is coming in. So we'll talk about our handicaps first, and then I'm just going to give you my spiel. I did do a big article on wegspool.com. Check it out, kind of my stuff. I really am having trouble deliberating on the game itself. I already did have the teaser that I mentioned last week, so I took Kansas City up to +8 and the total up to 53.5 going under. That's kind of how I thought the KC would do it. I am really worried about the Chiefs here. I just think San Francisco, first of all, their A game is better than the Chiefs. We know that. We've seen it in the season, right? But everybody's betting on this the Chiefs. And it's like the script crowd. At some point, Vegas makes money, bro. I can't do it. I think that if I was to put hard-earned money pre-flop on it, I wrote in the article Kansas City, but don't go against Mahomes, but give me a break. You got to go with San Francisco if you play the money line. So to me, I am definitely doing an in-game situation. I am not betting any more money pre-flop on anything. I'm going to see how the first quarter plus goes and bet on the side that I think, could come back or something. Jimmy Hedgerton, your favorite term for me.
Oh, yeah.
But I still like the under. Dempsey mentioned that. I do like the under in this game. I think that the running game is probably important on both sides, so that's going to squeeze a little bit. And as much as we've seen some big plays, from Kansas City, I just don't think they're going to be able to light up this defense. Maybe they can run the ball a little bit, but, we'll see. So that's my take on it. Back off till in game. Don't feel super strong. I know you like the money line for the Chiefs, so tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, the couple things that I noticed, big thing, San Francisco was tied for the league in turnover differential. Kansas City was 28. They were minus 11. Yeah, so going forward or just watching that momentum early, I think could be very key. Another big thing was throughout the analytics of the season, the Chiefs like to play a lighter box. They like to play 8 or less pretty frequently. I think it was 60-something% of the time.
Yep.
As the 49ers' tendencies throughout the year, they actually threw more against lighter boxes and ran against heavier boxes. So they were kind of backwards on your thinking. So I think that is going to be an interesting tale of the tape in the first quarter. If they go against that trend, and I think if they run the ball against those light boxes, I think you're going to see a lot more success. So I think that's a big key early. And then the other big thing is just the line of scrimmage play. So actually, the Niners pass rush rate has actually gotten worse since they've gotten Chase Young. So they get to the quarterback less frequently now than what they did before they got Chase Young. So if they don't have any opportunity to rush Mahomes, and give him those third down situations, whether they're pass first or not. He's the best player in the league for a reason. So. Yeah, I worry from that standpoint, but again, you've had 2 weeks for these 2 great coaches. They're definitely gonna have their aces up their sleeves. I think we're gonna see some trick plays, and when we get into these prop bets, I think the over 2.5 for pass attempts for players, I think is a good one that I like. Who doesn't love a good trick play? But yeah, that's how I'm looking at going forward in the game. And I like the Chiefs in the first quarter just because the Niners have gotten off to such slow starts. And these teams are opposite. The Chiefs have been really good the first 2 quarters, and then they suck in the second half, to where the Niners have been awful in the first half, and then they turn it on in the second half. So it's going to be interesting to see that trend play out.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to consider, like you said, is that, Andy Reid's great off a bye. We know that. Yeah. But to your point, I think that Shanahan usually defers if they win the coin flip. So, KC's going to get the ball anyway to start. And that's always a good thing to start. Other thing I wanted to mention is Adam Chernoff. He's a big follow on Twitter, and he's got a podcast. It's a very short podcast. He's all over San Francisco for a lot of reasons. And I listened to him today, and I was just but we haven't seen that the last couple of weeks. They played at such a high level a lot of times, and then now they didn't. So I don't know. It's a tough situation. I want to see them just prove it to me. Usually I have a pretty clear determination. And again, you lose the Wegs index, the playoff index, which hasn't done this good this year. But no, 49ers are the better team, at least in the regular season. But in the playoffs, the Chiefs have been better. So let's talk about some of these game props. And I don't know if you like some or don't. We'll talk about in each category first the actual game props. So like passing, Purdy and Mahomes. So Purdy, you got 247.5 is his total. Minus 112 either side. I'm kind of agnostic on that one. I really like the interception prop, 0.5 interceptions is to throw one for minus 120. I do like that personally. It looks like, it's game script attendance. So talk to me about your Coopalytics.
Yeah, Coopalytics. Coopalytics tells us to take the over here. So 254.5 is what he's projected.
That's new now. Oh, but is that the actual?
That's the projection of him right now as it stands. So,
but the number's 24.
247.5.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like the over. I think the game script. If the Chiefs get out to a hot start again, they're going to have to abandon the run early.
Yep.
So if the Chiefs get up 10-0, they're going to have to come out and throw the ball.
For sure.
I could definitely see that happening more than the Niners running away from the Chiefs, in my opinion. I like the over there.
What about Mahomes? Mahomes is 261.5, minus 113 there. His projection's under that, which I kind of see that. I think they're going to run the ball more, but I wouldn't bet on it personally, but I can understand why you would go under.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I think it's game script. What's the chances of, if anything, they're going to take the air out of the ball. They're not going to give the Niners that. They're going to lean on their defense, hopefully play field position and go from there.
But you're mentioning this, and this is right. As you go towards the game time, if you like the under, you wait because the totals usually creep up as you go. So if you like Mahomes, if you want to go to the under for Mahomes, wait a little bit. You might get a better number tomorrow. With Purdy, you probably should hit it now because he'll probably tick up to maybe, 249.5, 250.5, something like that.
Yeah, and I think when I did it 2 weeks ago, Mahomes opened at, I believe it was like 252 or something. So it's gone up 10 yards
really close
in like
to
a
the
week
projection.
and a half. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Got it. So for rushing, we've got a few rushers here to consider. You've got McCaffrey, of course, probably the head. He's 89.5 yards. His total is minus 110, and you've got his rushing attempts at 18.5. And then on the other side, Pacheco 67.5, which is to me low. And then minus 115, but you can go alt yards on that. What do you like for McCaffrey?
If anything, I was going to go over on his yardage and his rushing attempts. Okay. I think if the Niners are going to win, it's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be give that man the ball, and hey, guess what? We're going to run him again.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like that. But Pacheco, I think the same thing. If you're going to go alt yards, I guess the more I think about it, I would go McCaffrey combined yards as opposed to rushing yards, just because I think they're going to throw the ball to him as well.
Right.
So if I had to lean under on one, I'd lean under on McCaffrey and over on Pacheco. But that's just how I'm feeling.
Just so you know, Dempsey just did another $2,500 on the $100 slot.
Nice.
Real time.
Nice.
I agree with you. I probably wouldn't bet the McCaffrey over per se. I think he's going to get a lot of run. Like you said, he's going to get a lot of attempts. It's a big number. And the Chiefs, they're going to focus on him, even though they've got a lot of weapons, right? I like Pacheco over. I might even go alt over. 79.5 is the alt over I saw that I like, plus 180.
Nice.
Again, the path for them to win is Pacheco. So if it's a close game, they're going to be running the ball. Now, granted, it is game script dependent. Like you said, if they're trailing, they're probably not going to run to him. So we'll talk about later with McCaffrey what I like. But Debo has an interesting prop. I see it's actually up. I heard 14.5 when a couple days ago. I should have jumped on it. It's 16.5 for rushing for him, minus 125 for the over, but minus 105 for the under. So it's shaded, obviously, to the over, and I do like him for that. I'm not going to bet this one, but that would be something I'd be interested in.
Yeah, no, I would definitely take the over, too. Obviously, you're not going to get a very good value for it, but...
Right.
What can you do?
And then you got the quarterbacks. You've got Purdy at 12.5 is his total over minus 115. Mahomes is 26.5 minus 110. I do like Mahomes. I'm going to bet this one.
Oh, really?
I do. Now, granted, I think it was 24.5. God damn it.
23.5.
Yeah, it was so low. Yeah. So, you got to jump on. Again, if you want to go over, you got to jump earlier. I just, frankly, had to get paid yesterday and all that kind of shit. I should have done it. Well, it was funny because out of state, I got paid off on Lamar Jackson MVP, but I'm in Arizona. so I can't make
so you
the pick.
can't
So the
get
money's in
that.
the account, just
Right.
couldn't do the pick. And so, but anyway, what about you? Which ones? It looks like you like Purdy over.
I would definitely do Purdy over. Yeah,
Okay.
I could definitely see him scrambling out, bootlegging, getting him out of the pocket. Like I think I like his prop much more than Mahomes'. I think Mahomes was good for like 20, 22. I think 22 is about the highest I would have gone. But yeah, no, I could see Brock Purdy making a 15-yard run pretty easily, especially how good their coverage is on the back
just
end.
one. I mean, that's
Yeah.
almost one scramble basically.
Well, if they play man coverage and they turn their back, and he's just going to take off. Yeah.
The other factor is for Mahomes, especially, is the kneel down. So if they are winning, the kneel downs do count as a rush. So you can actually, it happened last year, I think, when they did the kneel downs. He went under his total because of it. So be mindful of that. Maybe it's worth going a little bit lower, 23 or where it was before, 24 and a half. I know. 24 and a half, and then, pay a little extra juice for it. So now we've got the receiving props. There's a ton of these guys, and we have to think about it. So San Francisco, you've got Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, McCaffrey, and then I put a Juszczyk. But so Kittle, a lot of people, I like him. I like him a lot. 3.5 is his total for his receptions, over being minus 175. You can go out to 4.5 at plus 138. His yardage is 49.5. It seems low. I know that they have pretty good linebackers there, but personally, I know they like to attack it, and he didn't have a very good game last week, so I do this all 69.5 plus 235 personally.
Yeah, I think if you're going to attack Kansas City's defense, they probably would lean toward the middle of the field. But I like Ayuk. I think Ayuk is the one that's due for a big day. His over/under is 4.5 receptions. I would take the over. He's projected to do 5 or 5.5. His receiving yards is only 59.5, and I think he's projected right around 70.
Now, there's your ambulance. Do you think that he's going to draw Snead in the coverage? Versus,
even if he doesn't, I don't think it'll matter. I think you're going to see a lot of. I think you're going to see I think you're probably going to see some lighter boxes, but Brandon Ayuk is he's kind of starting to separate himself from a normal wide receiver. I like the matchups with him in this secondary, his size.
And then Debo is 4.5 receptions, 58.5 yards. I'm again a little agnostic with him on the receptions. We'll talk about. I like the kind of the total yardage for him, Debo and McCaffrey. McCaffrey's 4.5 receptions, 33.5 yards. His total yards are 129.5. I like that over. So I like combining. I know it's like, you're kind of being weak, Mr. Hedgerton, but
James Hedgington.
He's going to get the ball. We all know he's going to get the ball in a variety of ways. So I could do that. One of the things that Chernoff mentioned that for his handicap for San Francisco is that he likes the way San Francisco plays because they're very physical. You've got Kittle's a physical receiver, Debo for sure. I'm not sure about Ayuk. He's okay. And even McCaffrey. So whereas the Chiefs play a lot of man-to-man coverage, their press coverage, they have good coverage, they're really good defense, but they played smaller guys. I know that your guy Tyreek Hill is strong, but Diggs is not a strong dude. He's more quick guy. Right. It's more speed in those. And really, Zay Flowers, I guess, is more of a quicker guy. He had a pretty good game. But if they want to press, Debo, for example, or Kittle, they can win at the line of scrimmage with the strength. What do you think about that?
I do like that idea. Just the physicality, and it's kind of built into the DNA of that team as well. So I guess that would be a good matchup. I do like the over on receiving yards from McCaffrey. I don't know if I like the over on receptions though. I think you go under receptions, but I think you go over on the yardage for sure.
Breaks one.
Yeah.
And then the last one I kind of heard a lot about was Juszczyk. He's a Eastern European guy like me. Just half reception over, right? Yeah. The under is plus 124. The over is, I guess you can put that in there. Maybe put it. Anyway, whatever.
It was 115.
Okay, it's okay. I'd go over. I think he's going to get a reception,
a catch,
and then 4.5 yards is the actual. It's just a little check down. So that's the split minus 115 on both sides for that. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think not only besides him, I don't know if you've seen his hot-ass smoking girlfriend.
Yeah, she makes the jackets.
She makes the jackets,
yeah.
So.
And I think is that his girlfriend or his fiance? I can't remember.
Fiance, sure. Maybe wife, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it might be a wife now, but, he did a good job.
It is a great last name.
God, of course it is.
It's never going to get spelled correctly, poor guy.
Well, let's see. We'll keep going. Anyway, so then Kelsey, obviously everybody loves Travis Kelsey. They're betting the hell out of this guy. 6.5 receptions.
It's gone up 2 receptions.
Yeah, 2 receptions, 70.5 yards, which again is pretty high. The over is minus 130. The under is plus 100. I know you like him over. I just think it's just gotten out of control. If you got in it early, I don't know. We'll see. But
I did. I got in when it was 4.5.
Oh, okay. So you got the receptions over.
Oh yeah.
Just see what happens here. Okay. Yes.
We're just gonna splice it all together.
I'm gonna have to. I didn't realize it was only 30 minutes. Stupid bootleg software. Thanks for saving and editing. Where is it?
Untitled video, maybe? It's very top.
Oh, this one?
Okay, put that part 1.
Yeah. Okay. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this? I kind of figured it would be a... Huh. Where do you think it saved it?
Maybe your media. Okay. Content library?
Where's that?
Right below that recording.
Okay. Let's see if... Go recent ones here. I did press save, right?
Yeah, I thought I said save and edit.
Alright, well that...
What's 9:02 this morning?
That's not good. It's gotta be... Oh no, that's right, because I opened it to see if it worked. Let's try.
I can't believe you had another 2,500. That's so wild.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, let's try again. And not from the top. We'll just
keep going.
See if it's somewhere. Let's see if we can find them somewhere. 30 minutes.
There it is. Come on, Kelsey.
All right, let's continue with Travis Kelce. Technical difficulties. So you got the 4.5 receptions over.
Yeah, I got him where he started.
What was his yardage when he started?
I think it was like 62.5, I believe.
Wow,
so I got him
pumped up.
Yeah.
So I like it. The current number, I'm not necessarily going to bet him under, but if I would bet him under, and now it's at 7.5 under. I know he might have a good game, and of course, if he swifts out, maybe he'll be great.
It's plus 100 though. I mean, it's good money.
Yeah.
It's good value.
Yeah. So then we've got Pacheco, Rice. Those are the guys that probably will also receive, get the ball a little bit. So Pacheco 3.5 in receptions. His over is plus 124. They think it's shorter, and his yardage is only 17.5, 17.5. That seems low to me, but that's minus 115 on both sides.
Especially with no Jared McKinnon, because they know, they like to throw the ball to him out of the backfield. So. The pressure rate is what scares me. They haven't been on the pressure Mahomes. So if anything, the poor tackle play that we've talked about, at least that plagued the Chiefs all season, like it hasn't been exposed by anybody just because they haven't had. I mean, the best pass rushing they played was Baltimore, where they finally got the first sack of Patrick Mahomes the whole postseason.
I know.
So that's the other thing that scares me going into this is that the Chiefs have kind of stepped up in competition every week. They've gone from the Dolphins to the Bills to the Ravens to where like. The Niners have gone from kind of the Packers, which they had a good season, kind of above standard, if you will, and then they went to the Lions, who again they're they're good, they're not great, if you will, but
right.
And now they're going up to Patrick Mahomes. They're going to the top of the mountain essentially. They got to go play Patrick Mahomes, and I feel like that could be a big issue for them moving forward, just from a mentality standpoint.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, the defenses too, when you think about the defense they've played, the 49ers, Green Bay's okay.
Yeah.
Lions,
they're
not
okay.
that good.
Yeah.
And now you've got, look, all of it points to the Chiefs. I mean, Billy Walters said it should be 2 points favorites for the Chiefs, and we talked about that last week. It's weird, but...
Well, that in the postseason trends too, the Niners have trailed in 82% of their games played in the postseason to where the Chiefs... I think have trailed like 18%. So
Right.
they've gotten out. They've gotten, they've
So
done.
it's imperative for San Francisco to get out early, right, and not let this Chiefs defense dictate. But we'll see. Rice, I think he's going to have a pretty good game. So his reception 6.5 over minus 105. The alt is 7.5, just one more reception plus 175. I do like his yardage as well. I think the alt over 79.5 is the baseline 66.5. So I just think Rice is going to have a good game. I know the linebackers are pretty good for San Francisco, but the corners aren't. So I like Rice in the game in general on the over props. I don't know if I'll go both receptions and yardage. I'll probably just do yardage.
Yeah, I would. That's probably where I would lean. I think Mahomes is known to spread the ball around, especially since they've gotten rid of Tyreek Hill. And I mean, he's gonna obviously Kelsey's probably gonna get his targets, but as far as like a wide receiver, they're definitely gonna spread the ball around. If it
Right.
that way.
And then the last thing I really like, I know it's just kind of a whatever shot in the dark, kind of funsies. Just for funsies is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's plus 1,200 to get the longest reception in the game. Look, the dude's going to get at least 2 deep crossers in the game. I mean, right. or a fly route or something. He gets a 35, 40-yard catch. That's probably going to do it. So I do like him for that. It's, little pizza money, as we say. I like that one a lot. Now, let's go to the TDs now. You've got some anytime props here. You've got first TD props. What do you like here?
Well, for any time we got Mahomes plus 400.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's defense is plus 650. I thought that was a really good value for an anytime touchdown.
Okay.
And then I like Brandon Ayuk at plus 175 for an anytime touchdown score.
Gotcha.
So,
and then your first TD prop, I mean, obviously Kelsey has scored whatever. His anytime is like whatever because he's scored like 15 out of 17 playoff games or something crazy. And then he scored, 5 out of the last 7? I think he's been the first TD scorer for them.
Yeah, so we have him at plus 700 to score first. And a spicy one that I like is Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I like Mahomes at plus 2,500. I think that's really good value. I can see them getting, inside the goal line. Maybe not necessarily the one, but, or maybe or just something where, he's got to, extend the play and he gets outside the pocket. Do you know there's also never been a 7-yard rushing touchdown in the Super Bowl? Ever?
It's random. Just exactly 7 years.
Never been there's a couple others. There's right. I wish we could. There's never been.
I will say what DraftKings has been doing. I know you want DraftKings more than me. DraftKings is allowing you to do first play props and directional.
Wow.
So like first McCaffrey run right plus 500. First McCaffrey runs middle, your center. I think it says center or middle. Whatever, plus 300. And then, so you can do a lot of things on DraftKings. Maybe you can find it on there.
Maybe.
I
couldn't find it so far, but maybe I'll go scouring the web.
My first TD prop guy was McKinnon. I'm very sad he's not going to play. I still probably throw some on Rice. I think Rice was still like plus 2,500 or something like that. Okay. Plus 2,200. I know McKinnon was like plus 2,800, but I was like, check, he's not going to play. Because he always scores a touchdown in games. You could probably better any time. But I mean, I'm riding high after the whole Jameson Williams stuff.
That doesn't surprise me for a minute.
And then your multiple TD prop, you're mentioning Purdy and Debo. I do like the Debo one here.
Yeah, Debo's plus 1,000, and then Purdy's plus 6,500. Again, I was talking about taking the rushing over prop for him. I mean, again, if they get down late in the game and they just get the ball in for like backdoor covers or whatever the case may be. So you just never know. That's the only one I felt like maybe a good value.
Yeah, because I mean, McCaffrey, of course, is the leader there, but is there?
Yeah,
any
it was like plus 400. It really wasn't. And then Kelsey, I think, was plus 600, and just a lot of the guys I felt like weren't a good enough value to put money in on.
Right. I kind of like this one, although I didn't put in the actual distance. That would help. But the longest field goal made of 47.5 yards in the game is minus 114.
Okay.
So. The thing is, it's going to be a close game. Maybe it comes down to a field goal here or there. I do like that 47.5. I know you can also bet on the misses, like you said, the double doinks and stuff. So, but I'm going to bet this one, the 47.5 yards over on that one.
Oh, yeah.
So with the MVP, which is, kind of the last major category, you don't have to bet it, whatever. It's usually a quarterback. We always know that. But I'm not going to bet the quarterbacks. Whatever, dude. I mean, it's not enough value. McCaffrey's 4.5 to 1. That's pretty good. Plus 450. Kelsey's plus 1,200. I'm going to throw this in. Kittle's plus 6,000. Do you know what tight end has never won the MVP of the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that would slow me. I do like Debo, but good God, I should have bet it last week. It was plus 3,000. Actually, it was before the NFC Championship game. I think it was plus 6,000 or 6,500. It's all the way down to plus 2,000. So that's got bet up. And then Pacheco's plus 2,500. You like anybody else? I mean, I saw Chris Jones all the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say
10,000.
if you like Dempsey's idea of playing the under, you could maybe throw some money on Chris Jones. He has a couple sacks, maybe a fumble, and it's a 17-10 game. I mean,
right. And
I could very easily
plus 7.
And he's a contract here, yeah. He's
Bosa?
free agent. No. Chris Jones. He's free because he signed a 1-year deal, right?
Oh yeah,
so,
sure.
I mean,
sure.
He's definitely going to be motivated to go off so he can get paid next year, whether it's with Kansas City or not.
Worth some pizza money.
I mean, at plus 10,000, what are we doing here? So, yeah, no, I mean, if I was really going to roll the dice, yeah, let's go Chris Jones.
I'm definitely going to put some money on Debo. I do like Debo because I just think he's going to be used in multiple ways. I mean, just like McCaffrey, but he's a better price.
Yeah.
Maybe I will put a little Chris Jones, a little fiver.
I'm going to say Dempsey was talking about, playing that undercard. I could see that happening.
And he's playing that 2-point.
You got to explain the octopus to me, by the way.
Okay, I love it. I know. I knew I had to explain. I didn't put the explanation so you could, be curious. An octopus is when somebody scores a touchdown and then scores a 2-point conversion immediately after.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Jalen Hurts did do that last year.
It's an 8. It's an 8.
Okay.
8.
It sounds a little more sexual. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
I don't want to taint your mind, but
right.
Jalen Hurts did do it last year. He did do it. It's plus 1,200 for the yes. Obviously, it's heavy minus money, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Again, these are fun bets. These are fun ones that are within the game, not when we get the crazy stuff. And then quarterback reception. So that's just like Lamar Jackson got the tip and catch. Or if it could be like the Philly play.
Yeah.
Plus 1150. That's not bad.
No, not hateful. And then the one I didn't put on here, I think, was the one I talked about earlier with the over 2.5 on passers.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So what is that number?
I think it was like plus 200 maybe. It
wasn't low.
Yeah, it was kind of low. I think they expect kind of a trick play at this point.
Yeah.
So.
But they actually have to catch the ball. That's why it could be an attempt. It's just an attempt, right? Or
yeah,
it's a completion.
An attempt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other
somebody could get hurt too, concussion.
That's true.
That's
a good point.
Yeah, so
Sam Darnold.
That's what
he can win the MVP.
He just. I did see him. MVP? I did see him on MVP. He was up there with. He was north of Chris Jones. Wow. I think it was like plus 10,000 or more.
Now those are all pre-flop. You cannot get in. It
was 20,000. So. I lied. It was plus 20,000 for Sam Darnold.
That's some cheddar.
Yeah.
I also threw this one in. Team, to win the coin toss and win the game. Kansas City is plus 350 and San Francisco is plus 255. So not huge numbers, but it's kind of interesting.
You get plus 100 either way if you just pick the team to win the coin toss. So if you want to go San Francisco winning the coin toss outright, it's plus 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Versus the coin toss, which we'll get into
versus
now.
Parlaying it. Yeah.
Nice segue. The silly props, the stuff that you may not be able to do at Rivers or, I don't know, DraftKings might have it.
Oh, yeah, they do.
National Anthem, they have that? Okay, is it still 90.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so 90.5 seconds. Over is plus 102. Under is minus 128. Now, mind you, the people in Vegas that are listening to the practice sessions, maybe they have a better thing, but as you said, you're not going to this thing rooting for the under. Let's go for the over.
Yeah, life's way too short to bet the under. So, and they're going to have a flyby, and those things usually take. They're not always timed up perfectly. There's usually a delay somewhere. They got to make up time for the plane to get there. So yeah, I like the over there. Reba's going to really stretch it out. She's going to show her vocals, and she's going to do 91 seconds or more.
Oh, there you go. Yep. And then you've got the coin toss is minus 103 either way. I don't recommend doing the coin toss, but tails never fails. Whatever the hell. I'm not betting on this. You can, Coop, if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows tails never fails.
We when we go to the bar on tomorrow, I am going to have all these silly bets about commercials and in-game bets. Just at our table and have fun. We could probably throw this one in if you want to. Taylor Swift cutaways. I saw 5.5. It seems a little low, but she did yell at the screen last time. You saw that when she's like, go away or whatever,
I also saw Jason Kelce was plus 120 to be shown on TV before Taylor Swift was. So I think that might be a spicy one. If people out there looking for Jason Kelce, if they put him on television before Taylor,
was there a prop for Kelce with his shirt off?
I don't know, but I also thought, what if they're on television at the same time? Because they're probably going to be sitting in the same box, right? So
voided bet.
Yeah.
Commercial props. You're not going to find a lot of these, but again, we'll go over these tomorrow when we're in person. First commercial to show animal or baby. This is just amongst friends. Beer, like a beer or a snack, like Doritos versus whatever beer. And these are kind of fun stuff. Oh, you got the scoregami on there. You want to explain that?
Oh, you're not familiar with
Oh,
scoregami?
I know it is.
Oh, okay. Well,
Listeners.
scoregami is just it's a total. It's never, or I guess it's not necessarily even a total. It's just a final score that's never been posted before. So the only 2 scoregamis in Super Bowl history include the Denver Broncos. Or sorry, all 3 of them include the Denver Broncos.
Really?
So the Seahawks, the 55-8 was a scoregami. The Panthers Broncos Super Bowl was also a scoregami, and I can't remember the score of it. But then also the Niners and Broncos. So.
Gotcha. Yeah,
This would be the
like
first
10
year.
It was really low, that score. 13-6 or something.
Something crazy. So this would be the first Super Bowl if we hit scoregami that doesn't involve the Broncos. So
plus 2,000, no minus 10,000?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, heavy juice.
Hey, if we get that safety that Dempsey talked about, we could be well on our way to scoregami. So
we did not put this in. I'm sorry I didn't include this. What about the first Usher first song prop?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a whole index prop. You got you've got whatever. A few of them. We didn't pull this up.
Caught
Sorry,
Up,
America. But
Confessions,
you can definitely have some in there. Here's the thing about, in general, betting props. Index props are losers. The casino or whoever makes money. But this is you're here to watch the Super Bowl, have a good time.
Yeah.
The last one, famous one, Gatorade color, right? So purple plus 250, blue 350, yellow 300 only.
Oh, yeah.
Green 300.
Yeah, they've moved quite a bit.
Because, yellow, I think, because of the Chiefs colors, right? San Francisco's reddish. That's plus 275. That was higher.
Yeah, the red moved quite a bit. It was plus like 500 or 600, and it's like in half now.
Orange is plus 300. Clear plus 1,000, but no dumping plus 1,600.
That's where I'm putting my money, is no bath.
Yeah, that's big money.
Because even though Andy Reid it's gonna be hard to miss him with the Gatorade. But he's a big man, so I could definitely see.
He's not fast either.
No. I mean, I could see them not giving him a bath either, just out of respect for the maybe he'll get pissed off and be like, don't get me wet. But anyway, you know how he goes. So
that's hilarious.
I can see the no bath. I'm telling you.
There you go. Well,
so he's superstitious. He doesn't like baths.
He doesn't. Showers, did they get it last year?
I have no idea.
He got dumped last year. I think if I recall, was it last year or the year before? They didn't actually show it on the telecast.
Oh, everybody freaked out because
it got rated somewhere else, and they said it was like, I didn't see it, so I'm like, oh my god, what happened? But interesting. Okay, well, let's just last bit here. We'll go over some best bets. Again, I mentioned most of what I had. I have the teaser. Oh, it's only plus 7. God damn it. Plus 50. There are 53.5 under. I'm definitely going to go MVS for the plus 1,200 longest reception. I'm going to do Debo, probably total yards on him over. I do like Pacheco rushing yards over.
Nice. And
then I think I'm going to do, like I said, first touchdown. I'm going to do Rice on that one. It's around the 2,500 range. And then, what's the other one I really liked? Oh, yeah, the field goal kicker one, the over 47.5 yards.
Okay, yeah. And I had a couple. I had one parlay built from 2 weeks ago that we mentioned last week. We had the KC money line. We had Travis Kelce anytime touchdown score, over 50 yards receiving, 50.5 for him, and then Mahomes over 250, and that was at plus 355.
At that time,
yeah, that feels like a pretty good bet right now. A lot of everything else is up from that point. Yeah,
that's good.
We're going to take the under 4.5 on total sacks.
I like that.
Purdy's going to get the ball out of his hands pretty quickly, in my opinion, and then obviously the Niners haven't gotten any pass rush in like 8 weeks, so I don't see a lot of sacks happening. Obviously, Mahomes is actually the highest percentage quarterback not to get sacked, and then Purdy is at like 7%, which is top 10 in the league. So neither one of these guys gets sacked very often.
Yeah, they get rid of the ball.
I'm taking the Chiefs' first quarter shutout.
So meaning they get shut out?
No, meaning they shut out the Niners. So plus 320. Again, the Niners have gotten off to really slow starts the whole playoffs. I think that trend's going to continue. I'm taking the over on Brandon Ayuk receptions of solo. That's plus 116. The over-under is 4.5. And then I parlayed the Brock Purdy rushing over with the Ayuk reception, and then the Kansas City first quarter total at plus 0.5. And that's plus 550 when you parlay all three of those together.
Some serious parlays.
Yeah, I like all of them. So
nice. As I said, I'm going to do a lot of in-game betting, so I will not necessarily parlays, but we'll hit some stuff to try to get some value. So we'll come back to college hoops next week after we kind of recap the Super Bowl. We'll go back into college, do some matchups and stuff like that. We actually did okay first week, by the way. I think we're like 4-3 or something in the picks. Not too bad. Again, we're going to be at Four Shadows tomorrow. I'm going to get there around 4:30, just FYI. Doors open at 3.
What time's the game?
5:30.
Okay.
They do have squares and stuff. They're probably filled on the squares, but they do some other betting in the bar where they have first touchdown prop. They kind of do it interestingly where they'll have like an index. So like, let's say you have Christian McCaffrey. Well, in order to do his, you got to pay like $25 or something to get his first touchdown prop.
Gotcha.
But then you just take the pot, and then you could bet like $5 to do
For like Jawan
rights.
Jennings or something.
Correct.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So you can put in less money, get it. It's kind of like everybody wins. Whoever wins it wins the pot. But you can also split it, obviously. Like last year, the famous story is I had Kenneth Gainwell like $10 to win like $1,300 or something. I maybe would have split it with a girl. Maybe it was $1,500. We were spent like $750 a piece. And they overturned the thing at the goal. I was jumping up and down like, no! And then Jalen Hurts, who was obviously like you had to pay $25 or $30 to get him. So
I did win like $300 in bowling on Tuesday night.
Oh, look at
I
you.
shot 268 the last game.
Cash money.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do some wagering tomorrow.
Get some-
Responsibly
gambling.
wagering.
If there's
If
a
you have
gambling
a
problem,
problem,
you 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yes. See, there you go. We're a responsible podcast.
But yeah, so tomorrow, Foreshadows is a potluck for us. It's really nice. It's kind of like a big, somebody hosted the party at somebody's house. You bring potluck. You still buy drinks. That's a little different. But, it's a good party. It's this third time we'll be going. It's really fun. And then obviously you got bowling this week, so good luck.
Yeah, we're 14-0 to start the third quarter. Well, the third and final quarter. So I think we have 11 weeks left. So we have 8 regular season weeks and then 3 playoff weeks to follow. So we are, we're getting tuned up, if you will.
That's awesome.
So
that is great. Okay, well, follow us on Side Action Pod on X. I'm trying to get better. And Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Check us out on X and Instagram. Until next week, and hopefully. What's gonna be worse if we start the podcast with, wow, here we go, the Chiefs have won it again, or it'd be a lot spicier if like, hey, is Brock Purdy the new Joe Flacco? Just saying, that's basically what's gonna happen if Brock Purdy
or is he
wins.
the new Tom Brady? I mean, he's the Mr. Irrelevant.
Nah, it's more than he'd have to win like 3 or 4 more to be Tom Brady.
Of course, but I mean, Russell Wilson was what, a 4th rounder, maybe
third
rounder.
Yeah,
okay.
Third rounder.
There's not a lot of late round guys that win, so and especially if he wins the MVP. And I know Russell did not win the MVP. What was that? Was it a defensive player in that Super Bowl?
Yeah, because they won 55-8.
Yeah, he crushed them. But
it was like Malcolm Smith, I think.
If San Francisco wins, he wins the MVP, whatever. I mean, maybe it's not going to totally change my mind about Purdy, but it's just still he's got a lot of weapons. So we'll see. Shanahan. Sorry, we keep talking about this. Biggest thing is Shanahan is like Captain Lose-A-Lot in these situations. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator with Atlanta when they blew that huge lead against New England.
Yeah.
And that was what, a
27-3.
Yeah, 24-point lead. So then he also lost to these Chiefs. They were up by 10 with 7.5 minutes to go. Yeah. 7.5 minutes to go. And then he also lost to the Rams they were up by 10 in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago. So he's known to lose some leads, a little conservative. So we'll see if Shanahan gets it off his back, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So looking forward to next week.
All right, everybody. Hopefully we can piece this Frankenstein together. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Okay, bye.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Side Action Podcast. We appreciate all of your listens, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again next week on Thursday for some more hot picks and side action. Side Action Podcast, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the show hosts or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of this podcast, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. Individuals following the advice given on the podcast accept their own risk of losses from wagers made, as the Side Action Podcast, its owners, hosts, associates, or guests will not guarantee any advice given. The opinions and advice given on the Side Action Podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Intro and outro and transition music credits. Song titles, Jerry 5 and District 4 by Kevin McLeod at incompetech.org. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0. creativecommons.org/licenses/by 3.0.